This is the Newsload.
Does censorship frustrate you?
Well, it doesn't frustrate me because I don't pay any attention to it, and I never have. When I started Yuck Yucks, I had two goals. A bunch of other goals that were personal, but I had two comedy goals. One was to keep the Canadian comedy business Canadian and hire Canadians first, which I've done. And I'm proud to say I have put millions, probably $30 million in the hands of Canadian comedians over the years. But the second one was that I would have a completely uncensored business, that people would not be able to censor me in any kind of a way. The audience censors. How does the audience censor? The audience censors by not laughing. If the audience
Or booing.
or booing, they rarely boo, but they don't laugh. And if they don't laugh, then the comic doesn't get laughs. And what am I in the business of? Providing laughter. But I'm telling you that there's a lot of stuff that, say, CBC wouldn't put on their network that they're afraid would get no laughs, that do get laughs at Yuck Yucks. It's self-selecting. You know, it's been forever since I've had people walking out on a show at Yuck Yucks because of language or of content. People never do anymore because they know what they're getting. Also, we've kind of caught up with the general culture. I was watching CBC the other night, and I think it was on Son of a Critch, somebody said, use the F word. And you can do that now, once in a while. They'll allow one in a show.
Yep, I hear that's the rule. Yeah,
you know,
one F.
Yeah,
so
one
make it count.
Yeah, so one F-bomb. So that was never the case 20 years ago.
No.
So we've caught up with them, they've caught up with us a bit, but most of all, it's people who, they know they're coming to Yuck Yucks to hear stuff they're not going to hear anywhere else.
Didn't CBC broadcast an Amish television show about cocaine smuggling? Am I correct? Was it CTV or CBC?
I don't know the network, but yes, but that was a documentary, and that's a bit different.
But it was Breaking Bad Canada.
I know, but it's comedy has its own rules because comedy is considered trivial. Why do you need to swear? It sort of seems to be the attitude. There's a lot of hypocrisy surrounding comedy all the time. Listen, my clubs may be the only clubs that are actually committed to a no censorship policy. So when somebody says, "Oh, you know that comic, he's going to do an abortion joke," tell him not to do the abortion joke. I would never do that. I would never do that. And even if some people don't like something, and if they come up to me and they say, or somebody insists, they say, "We don't like that. We think the comic should be fired." We've had this happen.
Of course.
We would always say, "No, we do not fire comics on the basis of what they say. But here's 2 free passes for another show. Come back and maybe you'll like." And here's another thing.
Come see Kenny Robinson because he'll blow your socks off.
Well, you know, that's a good point. Would you go to a movie and not know what it's about? So now everything's on the internet. Anytime you want to go see it. Chris Robinson is headlining at the Toronto Club this weekend, right? Okay.
Kenny?
No, Chris Robinson, another guy. So I'm just picking a name.
Oh, okay.
So Chris Robinson. So if you want to come to see the show, you go on the internet. You have to buy the ticket on the internet anyway. And there's a link, Chris Robinson, and you go on the link and you watch him for 5 minutes. And you go, "Oh, I see what kind of stuff he's doing. He's clean. He's fine. I'll go." Or "He's dirty. I like that. I'll go." But
and then Jason Rouse opens for him.
Sometimes, yeah. In the case of a Jason Rouse, that probably wouldn't happen. He would only headline. But
That's true, you're right.
But we haven't had any walkouts in years.
Because you tell people, and people have been warned, and the household name almost.
They know.
Knowledge, like you're going to possibly be challenged.
Yeah, and people know that, and people want to see that. You know, when Just for Laughs does their shows every year, they have a show called The Nasty Show, which runs like 7 shows, right? And that show sells out faster than anything. What does that tell you?
That people want to be shocked still?
People enjoy transgression.
Well, there's the whole video game culture of, you know, like the driving and the running over, you know, people and everything. The culture of lack of sensitivity is calming down, do you find?
I don't play video games, so I don't know, but I can tell you that there's nothing violent at Yuck Yucks. If you think about it, I don't see any violence.
You have bouncers to prevent that.
Well, I mean, in the material, there isn't even any violence. There isn't any material where people are saying, kill this guy or shoot that person. That never happens. The comics are fairly peaceful people, but they hate hypocrisy, and they hate hypocrisy when it comes to sex or politics or things like that. So I think you're going to see a lot of dark comedy at my clubs,
Oh, yeah.
but you aren't necessarily going to see any violent comedy at my clubs.
This is the Newsload.